Hello, everybody. I think we're back live again. I hope you've enjoyed. If you missed me this morning, my name's David Dunn. I'm the chair of the UK Tech Cluster Group. And over the last 14 weeks, I've had a lot of opportunity to work very closely with government departments as part of their plans for the economic recovery. I think in many of those meetings have been with DCMS and indeed a few times with the Secretary of State himself. And I've been heartened by both him using the terminology digital-led recovery and a quite clear intent for action. So with this intent for action in mind, it's my pleasure to hand over to the Right Honourable Oliver Dowden, CBE, Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. Oliver, over to you.
Thanks, David, and well, good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to close this Roadmap to Recovery Summit. And I think one of the best things about the cluster group is that its members, all of you, truly reflect the full length and breadth of the United Kingdom's sprawling tech sector, covering everywhere from the Highlands and Islands all the way down to Cornwall. So as you're keenly aware, and as am I, it's not all about London. So it's great to see all of our regions represented here. And I also know that you're doing some great work to help tech communities across the country bounce back from COVID, and to use tech more broadly to help your own regional economies recover from the pandemic. And of course, the coronavirus has fundamentally altered our lives and the role that tech plays in it. Of course, it's turbocharged the digital transformation of almost every part of our days, of our workplaces, our businesses, the way we shop, the way we stay in touch with family, and the way we use public services. So just take a couple of examples. Almost half of the UK's workforce now works from home. And I know that many businesses up and down the country intend to keep it that way. And just take remote doctor's appointments, virtually unheard of before COVID hit. Now it's become the norm. And at the same time, though, coronavirus has, of course, delivered a sucker punch to our economy. And we really will need tech to help us get back on our feet. Now, we're already dusting ourselves off, and you've seen the announcements from the Prime Minister today, and we're getting back into action by slowly reopening remaining parts of our economy. But to truly get back up and running, we really need tech to power us out of what inevitably and very sadly is going to be a recession and into a recovery, to get that V-shaped recovery that we also desperately want and need quickly to bounce out of this recession. And this needs to be done both through the industry's own growth, but also helping our more traditional industries in order to adapt, survive, and indeed thrive. And this is particularly true at a time of social distancing, where many businesses will be forced to change their ways of working. So we're living in a different world, and one that requires a different focus. And tech must play a leading part in our recovery. And my department, as David set out, has been working hard over the past few weeks and indeed months to put it in the best possible position to do so. Of course, one of the great things about the UK is that we're a nation of innovators, a nation of entrepreneurs, and a nation of investors. And our tech industry is already very strong. Of course, I'm sure many of you know this, but we are third globally behind only the US and China, and we consistently outperform the rest of Europe. But I want us not to be complacent, but to build on that strength. So with that in mind, and during this Rebuilding the UK event, I can announce that the government will be publishing a new digital strategy in the autumn, and one that reflects the new post-COVID reality. Now, I know, of course, we've had digital strategies before, and indeed they've addressed all kinds of important questions and challenges for the tech industry, such as how to build 21st century digital infrastructure, or how to make the UK the safest place to go online. But this global pandemic has brought an urgency to this situation, one that forces us to focus and to reprioritize. Now, while of course these are all still important questions, and they continue to form a central part of government's thinking on digital, right now, our clear priority must be growth, using tech to power us out of the recession, to drive productivity and create jobs in all parts of the industry, region by region, and indeed in all parts of the economy. And with offices and shops shuttered during the crisis, tech, of course, has kept the economy ticking over. But now, as we enter recovery, Tech needs to put a fresh load of fuel in that tank, driving a new era of growth. So what are some of the key areas we'll need to consider? What might spark a digital drive for growth? Well, first, it means securing adequacy and creating the best data regime possible, one that allows businesses and public services of all shapes and sizes to use and share vital information quickly, efficiently, and ethically, as they have done during the pandemic. And of course, we've seen during this pandemic huge improvements in how data has been used. And I want that spirit of innovation and urgency of change to be one of the positive legacies that we now take forward. And our forthcoming national data strategy will reflect that desire. It also means looking at ways to build a highly skilled digital workforce across every region of the UK so that people can shift into the digital or tech sectors, or indeed digitalize their own businesses. Now, we know that the GI Bill gave American veterans the skills and qualifications to move into new areas of work after World War II, helping them to readjust to civilian life. Likewise, we similarly need a strategy that will help workers here to adjust to a digitally led economy after coronavirus. It means putting world-class next generation infrastructure in so that everyone can take those advantages and those opportunities in digital wherever they live. For example, using their 5G network to launch that next killer app. It means ensuring our regulatory regime for digital is pro-competitive, pro-innovation, agile, and proportionate. We must avoid unnecessary layers of regulation and ensure that we have a coherent and consistent approach to drive growth. And it means getting the UK's best small and medium-sized shops and businesses, stretching from Land's End to John O'Groats, making better use of tech and trading online, expanding their customer base from the local high street or retail park to a national or indeed even an international marketplace. Now, turnover for small and medium-sized businesses has already risen by over a third, for example, on eBay during lockdown. And it won't surprise you that 3/4 of those who trade on eBay are from outside London and the southeast of England. And that once you adjust those figures for population, several regions rank higher than London and the southeast for digital density. But I want to see even more of them online. I want a new wave of micro multinationals across the whole of the UK. And I know that Amazon is today launching its Small Business Accelerator, which will help more than 250,000 businesses digitize their services. And through an intensive boot camp, we'll get at least 1,000 offline firms trading online within a week. Now, that's exactly the sort of approach that I want to see. And of course, all of this means pushing for ambitious trade deals that will expand digital exports and drive inward investment of all our tech communities. Now, these clearly are lots of different aims, but they all contribute to the one same thing, to that one goal of driving growth and creating jobs. And I'll be seeking ideas from civil society, charities, and the wider public so that they can fully benefit from this digitally led recovery. Maybe a charity, for example, will have an innovative idea about how they'd like to use data to support and target exactly what's needed and where it is needed. Or maybe a small business in Southend or Hexham will lay out exactly what barriers they face to get trading online and how we can help to remove them. But most importantly, I need all of your help, the guidance of the tech industry itself, to shape our new approach so that the strategy reflects your needs and the changes you most want to see in the coming years. You might be a health tech company in Oxford who knows